There are lots of play options for keyboards, but sometimes they're just a bit too expensive. However, what if I told you that you can make one yourself for less than $3? Well, hello, my name is Kuzma, and I tried 3D printing a keyboard plate. Going into this challenge, I did not expect the results to be very good. However, the end result proved me wrong, so stick around to find out. Speaking of proving me wrong, only 0.6% of you watching this video are subscribed, so prove me wrong by subscribing. This video starts with a promise that I made in the last video. I said that if I would get 100 likes on the previous video, then I would review and build the bare bones version of the Drop Sense75. And so here we are. Before we start, this video is made possible by Keysfan, who is the sponsor of today's video. If you want to remove that nasty Activate Windows watermark in the corner of your screen, Keysfan has got your back. They offer cheap and legal OEM software keys. Their 24/7 customer support is always there if you need any help, or if anything goes wrong, and they offer a complete refund if the key is invalid. Keysfan is running a Black Friday sale where you can pick up a Windows 10 or 11 CD key for less than $8. You can also pick up a Microsoft Office CD key for $27. Don't forget to use the code KUZ50 at checkout to get 50% off Windows, and the code KUZ62 to get 62 off Microsoft Office. Once you have purchased the CD key, everything you have to do is go to activation settings, then put it in. Then watch the watermark disappear and you can enjoy everything Windows has to offer. Now, back to the video. To start off, this keyboard only costs $99. This is the sweet spot for budget custom keyboards. This keyboard has south-facing hot swap sockets, so there will be no interference with custom keycaps. This keyboard is also gasket mounted, but we're gonna talk about those gaskets later, because they're a bit interesting. Now, as you can see right now, I'm gonna put a few switches in it and see how it sounds. This video is going to be dedicated to building this keyboard as well as the 3D printed plate. As you can hear in this clip, there is quite a bit of ping in the keyboard while it's stock, but we're gonna change that later. We're going to start by disassembling the case to see what's inside. This case is held on by 6 Phillips head screws, so you don't need any special screwdriver to disassemble it. This clip is just to prove that most of the case is super pingy. Before we go any further, I wanted to fix the stabilizers because they were very bad on the other board and I couldn't get them to sound better. So I'm gonna try a different approach here. I'm going to be doing the Band-Aid mod, but not for the reason you might think. I'm going to fill the stabilizers with super lube. Yeah, a strange choice, but that's gonna make them sound amazing. After I clipped in the stabilizers, I can take out my trusty super lube oil and put a few drops on each side of the stabilizer. I really struggled to remove the cap because my fingers were covered in lube. Some of these shots are unclear, but I tried my best, so it is what it is. And so here's the start of the show, the plate. So this is the typical brass plate, but we're gonna be swapping that out for a 3D printed plate. I decided to 3D print a plate because my guess is that it's gonna make this sound a bit deeper compared to a brass plate and reduce the ping by a lot. My 3D printer's plate volume wasn't that big, so I had to 3D print the plate in 2 parts. This plate is going to be secured to the PCB by the switches, so there are no physical screws holding it in place. For this build, I'm going to be using the Gateron Milky Yellows that I lubed and filmed by myself, and they're super smooth. For this video, I ran out of magic, so I had to put the switches in by myself. I'm gonna fill the case with polyfill because the plate I built doesn't have any gaskets on it, so that's gonna add a bit of bounce to the typing experience. While I was closing up the board, I noticed that there is a pre-installed force brake mod. This is a nice touch, and it for sure reduces the ping by a bit. For those of you who don't know what a force brake mod is, it is when something such as electrical tape is put between metal-on-metal contact points to reduce the ping. I'm going to apply the pre-included tape mod because it is an interesting touch and I've never seen any other keyboard manufacturer do that before. With all of that out of the way, we can finally reassemble the keyboard and move on to the keycaps. For the keycaps, I'm going to be using a keycap set I found on Amazon. I originally purchased it for another build, well, spoiler alert, but I'm gonna use it here. And with that out of the way, the keyboard is done. Before I show you the sound test, let me just say thank you for everyone who watched this video. I would really appreciate if any of you subscribed, because I spend a lot of time making these videos, and with that said, here are the sound tests.